Welcome to my next playthrough series. This time it's Ascension Tactics, and we will be doing the campaign, at least the first part of it. There's basically 5 branching missions in the campaign. You can do it solo or co-op, so we're going to be doing it solo. One character, and I'll show you things here. So it's basically Ascension, but it's tactical because you actually are going to be putting your characters out onto the board and try to complete objectives. And so if you look at the scenario book, there's a whole bunch of just one-off scenarios, and if you get to the back here, we have a campaign, the end of Vigil. I'm not going to read through this entire thing. You can feel free to pause the video and do so. I will give you the gist of it, and then we will take a look at new beginnings. So the gist is the world has been destroyed, and we are heroes left over, I guess, from the cataclysm, and we are vying to be the new gods for the rebuilt world of Vigil. There's an all-seeing, all-powerful, godlike character, and we are just mere little peon heroes, but we're trying to become the new gods for the newly created world. We will create the world, I guess, in our image, kind of thing. So that's the gist of it. There are some shrines out on the board with some symbols on them. That'll make sense for our enemies. And we have a starting deck of 10 cards. And in our starting deck, we have Militia, +1 power, I think it's called. That is to be used to activate our heroes. You can see this one here costs 2 power to activate. We always, at the start of our turn, once per turn, we get 2 power because we are going to be playing as the blue player, which I've selected. There's 4 different factions. So in our 10 card deck, we have 2 militias and we have 8 apprentices, giving us basically purchase power. So as per any deck builder, there are cards we can purchase. There are cards we can always purchase, which are heavy infantry, which will give us 2 power when it shows up in our hand. And we can purchase a mystic, giving us 2 recruit power or purchase power. And we can also always just activate and use a cultist. Now all cards are basically the same. Can't equip constructs. Well, they're just your most basic unit. They have 2 attack, 1 defense, and it costs 2 power to activate them. So there we go. And let's take a quick look at the scenario itself, which I have completely set up here for the first part of the campaign. Now, it's called Act 1. Act 1, First Blood, and we'll go through at least Act 1, which I'm calling Mission 1. I guess I should have called Act 1. So we'll do Mission 1, and we will definitely do Mission 2, which will be a branching mission, and we'll go from there. We'll see how long it takes. All right, let's do a little bit of introduction on what this mission's all about. So I gave you the gist of what's going on in the world. Our setup, we have 4 different faction enemies out on the board. We have to defeat 3 of them. We have a portal gate here, so we're going to be porting in here with our heroes. We have 2 heroes. All right, I'm just going to read the introduction a little bit, and then we're going to take a look at our 2 heroes, the 4 enemy heroes, and we'll get into some gameplay. Alright, so if we take a look at the book here at New Beginnings, it says, in this campaign you will command a group of renowned champions through a series of scenarios in order to ascend to the pantheon of new gods and rebuild the world of Vigil. Your first step in this journey is to choose your faction. This determines your primary and secondary champions. Your roster will consist of only 2 champions to start. Choose your faction now. So I chose Enlightened, so we have an Arha Templar and a Twilight Scout. I don't have Ascension, so I'm not sure what all of these are. So find the champion cards, put your 2 champions in front of you, then find their matching figures. In this case, it's tokens. The game has tokens, I don't have miniatures. These champions form the base of your roster command during each scenario and campaign. If you're playing co-op, which we are not. So we're just going solo, and then we have a treacherous quest. During this campaign, you'll attempt to complete a series of increasingly challenging scenarios in order to advance the story and increase your abilities in each scenario. Will be imposed by a team of villain champions or controlled and commanded by the Scheme deck, which is basically your AI deck. To learn how to play solo, we'll be doing that as we play. And then each scenario in this book has a map, tells you how to set everything up. So we will take a look at our heroes here. So basically, what do we have here? So our first introductory is called Act 1, First Blood, and victory conditions. Defeat 3 villain champions to win. There are 4 on the board already. We will be porting in our 2 champions here. And then the villain gains 2 honor points for each honor shrine they control at the end of their turn. You lose if they reach 30 honor points. Probably be pretty hard to lose this scenario, but you never know. And a scenario surge. So certain characters have a surge ability, certain AI cards have a surge ability, and that's deal 2 damage to each player champion on the battlefield. And at the end of each turn, all enemies and the end of the enemy turn, the enemies heal back to full health, and our heroes will heal back to full health. And the villains we're playing against are Naka Blackblade, Runic Lycanthrope, Makana Initiate, and the Unbound Emissary. So I've got them out on the board as per they're showing here. And they have corresponding shrine tokens on them. So how the AI works in a nutshell, very basically, if the AI enemy can get to one of your heroes and kill it, meaning it can overcome the defense. So for instance, our Twilight Scout has a defense of 4. If an enemy can get to the Twilight Scout and do 4 or more damage, they will, defeating the Twilight Scout. If they can't, they go for their corresponding shrine. So we have like Naka Blackblades trying to go to this shrine, and the Runic Lycanthrope's trying to go to this one. And we have the Unbound Emissary going to this one, and the Makana Initiate going to this one. So that's how it works. Forest spaces cost you an extra movement to move onto. They don't cost any extra to move off of, so 1 extra to move on to. And these are treasure tokens out on the board. If you end your movement on them, but not the AI player, just us, solo player, if we end our movement on them, we flip them over, we get that, we can use that ability instantly. They give you just buffs to your characters. Alright, let's carry on with the scenario and see what else it has to say for itself. Alright, so carrying on here in the next page, a battle for honor. During setup, place each villain champion on the battlefield on the location indicated. Okay, we've done all that. The villain team has no portal. Once a villain is defeated, it cannot be redeployed. That is for the remainder. It's out for the remainder of the scenario. If the villain would be commanded, give the villain 1 honor instead. The first of Immo's challenges has begun. Scatter throughout the lands of the crystal shrines to hold them to honor your vigil. Said Imoloth, I will exalt only those of you willing to spill blood or even die for their home. So it's just last fighter standing. When you've defeated 3 or 4 villain champions, the scenario is complete. You're victorious. The remaining undefeated champions will ally with you for the remainder of the campaign. Cool. They will become yours to command along with other allied champion from their faction, increasing your starting roster size for future scenarios. So we're starting out with 2 heroes. There's 1 for each faction out here right now. So when we defeat 3 of them, the other faction will join us. We are the Enlightened faction. So let's take a quick look at our Enlightened characters. And this will all make sense as we play the game. So basically we have the Arha Templar. He's our Enlightened champion. Slay, you may command another of your champions for free this turn. So the Slay ability means when you knock out one of the enemy champions, you get the Slay ability, which just means we'll be able to activate Twilight Scout for nothing. Normally it costs us the activation cost, so 3 for our Arha Templar, 2 for the Twilight Scout. So that's him. He's got an 8 attack and 5 defense. So there we go. And over here, and we can get buffs to defense and attack and movement, I think, are the 3 buffs that you end up getting. Twilight Scout has +1 movement, so all heroes, or all champions I should say, heroes are different, all champions have movement of 3, base 3, so our Twilight Scout can move 4, and basically costs 2 to activate, does an attack of 4, a defense of 4, and we have tokens representing the different characters in the game. They're just double-sided. And I think there's a miniatures version, which I don't have, which is probably a lot more expensive. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we have our Blue Gateway, always giving us 2 activation, or I'm not sure, combat, power, points, every turn. So every turn we can at least activate our Twilight Scout, even if we draw into our hand 5 initiates, which gives us just purchase power. Alright, let's take a look at the 4 enemies, and they have some special abilities as well. Alright, so the 4 enemies we're fighting against are Naka Blackblade, and the star in here, the enemy characters have star symbols. They are double-sided. They have higher stats on one side, lower stats on the other. The lower stat side is your solo side. The other side is for co-op. So we have him. He's got a slay ability, draw a treasure and put it on this card until she's defeated. So she's going to buff up with treasures. There's a treasure bag full of, it even says treasure bag on it. That comes with the game. All the treasure tokens we didn't put out randomly go in that bag. Nika has the bonus of all treasures on this card. So if Naka defeats one of our characters, they just keep gathering tokens until we defeat them. So they're kind of the boss. That's why you have the little red symbol. So that's the shrine they're trying to go towards, unless they can take out one of our heroes. Then we have the Mecha Initiate. If there are 2 or more Mechana cards in the center row, Mechana Initiate has +2 movement. Currently, there are 1 constructs in the row, and I'll just do a quick capture of that before we start so you can see what's there, but I won't go into detail unless we buy an actual card. The Runic Lycanthrope, if there are 2 or more life-bound cards in the center row, Runic Lycanthrope has +6 attacks. We'd have a 10 attack. Luckily, there are none there. And the Unbound Emissary, if there are 2 or more Enlightened cards in the center row, Unbound Emissary has range. And I believe range is 3. I have to double check that. Currently, it's just a melee character. And currently, we don't have we have a mecha here. Well, let's take a look at that. So those are our 4 enemies we're fighting against. Let's take a look at the center row, and then let's have a turn and see how the game operates. Alright, and I won't go into detail. So this one's going to cost 5, cost 3, cost 4, cost 3, 3, and 5. So pretty expensive stuff there in the center row. We have a Void Hero, Void Construct. Constructs can be added underneath your character. So we'll take a quick look at this one. So this is the Morbid Hammer, costing 4, Void Construct. Equipped champion has Slay, so that you, by equipping this, you get the Slay ability. And as you may banish a card in your hand or discard pile, and it gives you +4 attack, +2 defense for the champion that is using the Morbid Hammer. So that's how constructs work. We have the Plasma Rig, we've got the Scrap Weaver, so this is a hero. Now heroes stay in your hand, champions can go out on the board with a token, so that's the difference there. We are champions, these guys are here, so we have a Mecha Hero, a Construct, and we have another Void Hero. They give us buffs and benefits. If it has an ambush ability, that means when you purchase this card, the ambush ability happens immediately, and then the card goes into your discard pile. It's all fairly basic. There is a humongous deck of cards, which I've shuffled a lot to start the center row. And there are also the AI cards. This is how the AI operates, and you'll see that here in a minute when we do our first turn. So just give that another shuffle. All right, we always begin first. We're going to drop our hand of 5 cards and start our gameplay. Alright, so let's begin. I'm going to give this another little shuffle here. So remember, we get 2 power to start with because of our our blue gate, which is right here. Alright, 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see what we get for our starting hand. We end up getting an Initiate, a Militia, Apprentice. Okay, so not Initiate, Apprentice. So we basically have 4 purchase power and 1 command ability. I guess we'll call them command points, power points. I'm not sure. I probably should have looked that up. I think they're command points or power points. So we have 1 there, and we also have 2 from our blue gate. So we have a command total of 3. I think it's time to get our Enlightened Champion, the Arha Templar, out on the board. I remember he has a movement of 3. So we're going to spend all those points to activate him. So we're going to take his character and we're going to put him down on the board. He has a movement of 3, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so we summoned him or activated him with our 3 power points. he comes on the board, he can move 3 spaces, and you know what? Let's just go 1, 2, 3, end our movement right here, and by ending our movement we get whatever this is. So this will give us a +1 defense, so we can use it any time. I'm going to put the tokens along the side of the board here just to keep track of those. And this is retaliate, so if an enemy attacks us, we get to attack them back. Normally you don't get that, so I'm just going to leave that token there. That can be used for future play. That was us activating just as quick as that. And then we also have 4 purchase power from our apprentices. So let's see if there's anything in the row that we want to purchase for 4. And you can also purchase as much as you want. So we could get like a heavy infantry or a mystic. I think, what do we have here? The Spell Weaver. Ambush. Deal 1 damage to all enemy champions on the battlefield. That's kind of pointless. However, he does give us 3 power points when he shows up. We also have, we could get the Plasma Rig for 3. Ambush. Put Plasma Rig in your hand. Oh man, you know what? I think for 3, we might want to do that. And then we, in our hand, we can play it onto one of our heroes right off the bat. I wonder if we should go ahead and do that. You know what? I think we're going to do that. We're going to spend 3, so you immediately replace it with Isla the Serene. So we're doing that. We're starting. This goes right into our hand as the ambush ability, and we're going to play this down on our hero. And how you do that is pretty easy. You just basically take the card and you put it underneath. So we might as well put it on our most powerful character. So now our Templar with that artifact, our construct, has a 10 attack and 8 defense instead of 8 and 5. Awesome. All right. That's basically our turn, so then we would discard all of our cards. We have 1 purchase power left, but nothing. It costs 1, so we're just going to lose it. It doesn't wrap around till the next time. And then we would drop our 5 cards for our next hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which I think is just going to be the same hand. So we're going to have 1 militia and 4 apprentices. That will be for next time. Okay, let's have the AI go. I'll show you how that works, and that's probably going to be it for today. Alright, so how the AI works is pretty simple, so we'll just give this one more shuffle. Every turn the AI is going to be drawing and doing 2 of these cards. So the first of 2 cards we have is this one, Void Corruption. And I do like the art on this. Some of the art's a little wonky, some of it's actually really nice. It's a little bit mixed bag, but I guess I don't have Ascension, so maybe it's very much the Ascension art. So these are scheme cards, I call them AI arts. Banish the center row, deal 2 damage to each player champion for each void card. No, banish this way. Oh, wow. Okay, and the 8 here means if we have 8 cards in our discard, when we play this card, then we would do the next thing. So none of their champions get activated, but we're going to get 2 damage for each void card banished in the center row. So we're just basically cycling the entire center row. So let's do that. Oh, this is painful because we have 1 void hero, 1 void. We have void, 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 and void. That is a total of 8 damage. Even with our construct, we have 8 defense for our Templar. Our Templar is knocked out, which means he is knocked out. We cannot activate him next turn. Ouch. That was painful. So all of this is discarded, and we replace the center row. So we got a Whirlwind Ascetic, we have a Savage Master, Wolf King, we got a Wind Weaver, a Templar Commander, ooh, okay, and a Frenzied Cultist. Wow, well that was pretty horrible. That was just the first card. All right, let's have our second card for the AI player. Alright, the second card for the AI player, the first one was pretty brutal. Knocked our character right out. Fires of War. Oh, that sounds great. Villain champions get +5 attack this turn. It's not going to help them because we don't have any of our champions on the board. Command the Moon character, and we don't have 8 cards in discard pile. And I should say, when we play the 2 cards, they are played, and then after the 2 cards are played, they go to the discard pile. So that's how that works. So basically, we're just going to be commanding the Moon Champion. And the Moon Champion is the Unbound Emissary right here. They have a movement of 3. If there are 2 or more enlightened cards in the center row, the Unbound Emissary gets ranged attack. Well, we have no champions on the board at all. so it's not going to mean anything. So they're basically just going to move 3. They are going to try to get as close as they can to the Moon Shrine. Alright, so the Unbound Emissary is going to move 3, 1, 2. I guess we'll move them here, and yeah, they're supposed to be on standees. Anyway, can't move any farther because it would cost 2 movement to get into the forest. And that's going to be the end of the enemy's turn. So at the end of the turn, if they are adjacent to or on any shrine, the enemy would get 2 honor points. If they get 30 honor points, we lose. So there we go. Oh, I could have played this and left my... You know what? I'm going to retro one thing. I'm not going to knock out my my Templar, because I could have played this token to give him +1 defense. Would have been 9. He would have been totally okay. So I'm putting our Templar back. Alright, I just saw that now. I should have remembered that. So that token, of course, out of the game now that we've used it. Alright, we're going to back the camera out. We're going to wrap up our episode for today. Alright, well, that's going to wrap up our episode for today. I kind of hate retroing stuff, but you know what? I should have... The token was probably sitting right beside him. So instead of 8 defense, I gave him 9. He took 8 damage. You heal all damage at the end of the turn anyway. So, and this character couldn't get over here to take him out anyway, because only had a 6 attack. We have 8 defense. So it's always... This one's going to go for the shrine unless they get a pumped up ability to attack us. Anyway, I think that's it. So... Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for your comments, descriptions, and likes. This is Ascension Tactics, the original game. There's an Ascension Tactics Inferno as well, which I don't have currently. But we're just playing through the campaign mode of Ascension Tactics. This is Act 1. We'll do Act 1 and Act 2 for sure, and we'll see how it goes from there. So thanks so much for watching along. Hope you join me tomorrow for the continuation of Ascension Tactics with our 2 Enlightened Champions, trying to knock out 3 of the villain champions to win this scenario. I hope you join me for that.